so graphing this system, I need y alone. So how do you get y alone? So here's my algebra. How do I get y alone? I would have to move an x. I'd have to add an x. Okay, and I always like to write mine with the y part here, the sign, then the x piece, then the number piece. Okay, and then the other one is ready to go because the y was already alone. Okay, so I'm going to put this into my calculator. Let it do the graphing for me. Okay, so I'm going to hit trace. So I have a coordinate up there, 0, 10. Let's get our intersection point. Do you remember how to do intersections? Calculate. So second, calculate, intersection, enter, 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 negative 2.25, and then 7.75. Okay, I'm going to draw this line. When I draw that, so the 10 line, so this is this line, can I be solid or dashed? So this one can be solid because it says equal to on it. So I can draw it as a solid line. So that's that. Which side of that line do I want to be on? It says greater than. So which, don't shade it, but which side do I want to be on? The greater side is the red or the blue? That'll be the red side. So I'm going to just do this because I don't know yet. I'm just going to say I want to be on this side, okay? Okay, let's draw this line. Does anybody know this point right there on this axis by looking at the equation? It should be 1, right? So I'm going to be graphing that line that goes through these 2 points. What kind of line do you want it to be looking at this inequality sign? Solid or dashed? So this says less than, no equal to. So I'm going to dash it. Okay, we want to be less than this line, so less than. So which side of that line are you going to pick? Less than. You're going to pick the red side. So I'm going to be here. I want to be below that. So So which region would I shade? I have to be above the first line and below the second line. So which section would work for both things? And that's what it would be. Did anybody try doing the thing on their calculator where they change the symbol? I'll show you it once. So on this one, first one, I wanted a greater than. So enter a few times. Okay, that symbol means greater than the top triangle. And then the less than symbol so we'll try this. So on the first line I did a greater than, so the up triangle, and then on the second one I did the down triangle for less. Should we see if it works? Graph. Can you tell from your graph on here which part is the double shaded? Obviously it shades both, but this would be the intersection. I'm just going to make my window a little bit bigger so you can see. Okay, so you can see which part gets double shaded would be the one that works. Okay, let's do this last one then. So y is alone here, so we can put that into our calculator. So y equals x plus 3. So I'm going to trace 3, or sorry, I traced 0 and I got 3. If I trace 1, I get 4. So that's what's going on. What kind of line would this be? So this says less than. So do you want to be a solid or a dashed line? So dashed. And it said less than. So which direction on this line would be less than? So you have two choices, angling this up way or angling down. So less than, we want to be going in this direction of that line. Okay, for this part, your calculator does not do this because it's not a y equals. So your calculator will not do that for you. So this is something you learned in grade 10. I'm going to draw a line. Every time I see an x value of 4, I could be here, I could be here, I could be here. Do you notice what I'm doing? All of those points would have x values of 4. So what kind of line will it make? Straight up and down. And this says or equal to. So I'm going to draw that line in solid. And it says less than. So I have to be below that line. Okay, now here's where it gets tricky. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to shade yet, but normally if you shaded, it would be in this zone right here. But because our question says this, x and y can only be whole numbers, then here's the only part that works in this zone. So only those dots, these are the only points that will work as solutions, because you had to have whole numbers only. Okay? So this, I'm not sure if you're going to run into this word. It's called stipling or stippling or something like that. If you run into that word, I'm not sure if it says it in your book or not.